Okay guys, I am back and I hope this is going to work. It's going to work this time. We'll see if Marie is able to join and well, we just did a test in private and everything was working, so hopefully yes. Sorry, I'm just fixing my camera while I'm waiting for Marie to join. Okay, yes, you're here, girls. Right, Marie, let me see if I can add you. Because I don't have an alternative prepared for tonight, so don't do this to me. Hey,
We're back in
we did it.
business.
A reprimand. You need a reprimand. Fantastic. Fantastic to have you here. Like, we didn't do anything. Like, this time it works. The previous time it didn't work. We didn't do anything.
It's Facebook. Who knows?
It needs decluttering. It's so cluttered,
Right.
Hey, Sue. Thanks for waiting. You're so beautiful.
Yes. Hi, Sue. Thanks for waiting. It's awesome.
Fantastic. Okay, so let me do a quick introduction one more time. So we're gonna do a piece on decluttering. Marie has this six-step process to decluttering your home, and I'm going to be adding an edge on how to declutter. Hey, Naveed, on how to declutter your mind. Hey, Scotty, good to see you here. And so the reason why we're doing it today is because Easter is right around the corner, and a lot of us are cleaning our homes, and that's like the perfect time to do decluttering.
Yes.
And I usually, when I do decluttering, I just move to another apartment, honestly. But I just moved here, and so if you can actually tell me how to declutter, I'm very excited about what you're going to say, basically, today. And it's great to have you here with me again. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun. So
yes,
just hang in there, guys. All right, so the website is organizemarie.com if you want to go there, but there's going to be a link at the bottom, but I suggest you stay on this live right now and just go there afterwards in case I forget to mention. I've already mentioned this, so you can check it. And so let's start. So you've got a six-step process. Maybe is it true, like I said during the last live, which didn't really go through, decluttering is getting rid of the things that don't serve you anymore.
Yes.
Not the things that you don't use, the ones that don't serve you, right?
Yes.
Can we just dwell a little bit on,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have so much stuff in our homes, and you want to make sure that you're using what you have, and that it's serving you, that you enjoy it, and that you like seeing it. And with clutter, it brings confusion, and you might not even realize it, but when you have a pile of stuff sitting around, it's clutter, and it's creating all of this confusion inside you, your brain, and what you're thinking, and you might not go about it like your daily activities, walking by piles of stuff, and it doesn't help your mental clarity, and it doesn't set you off on the right foot and starting your day off when you're walking around with piles of stuff around your house. It doesn't make you happy, and that can really set your tone for everything. So decluttering your house and getting rid of stuff that doesn't serve you is the ultimate goal and purpose, and it makes you happier, and you're more productive, and being able to find things after you do it, you're happier.
Ooh, oh, finding things, yes. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it's like you have a to-do list, which is just, growing and growing and growing. It's like this pile that you have, which is lying somewhere around in your head, or something that you have to do, or some emotion that may be left there from some interaction that you had. It's all a lot of clutter, and it takes a lot of our energy. Just like a cluttered house, these things take a lot of our mental energy. Right.
They do. They really do. And it's hard. So, I recommend, if you're to grab someone to help you, especially like in the purging process, if you're not able to get real with yourself and get rid of the things that aren't serving you, have someone help you, because it's a lot easier when someone tells you it's time for this to go. So use your resources. Yes. Use the resources that are there. But yeah, it really comes down to using things that are in your home and that are serving you, because life is short. You don't want to be stuck in a house of stuff that you just you get filled up with, you know, it's not worth it. And so that's why it's keeping the things that you use and then putting them where they need to be accordingly. So, you know, and the whole process, you know, the first step in everything is to empty out the space. So wherever you're at in any space that you're just getting your home started, you want to empty it out because you want to start with a clean slate. You don't want to have something that is full of clutter, because it's going to create confusion if you're going to try to organize something that, you know, bits and pieces. Take it out of the space completely. And then after that is done, then is when you get into the purging process, which is the next step. And that's where you really have to get real with yourself. When you start purging, it's getting rid of the things that don't serve you, that you're not using, that you don't need, and anything that's broken. You know, if you're not going to fix it, or if it hasn't been fixed, it's not going to get fixed. It's time to
come on,
say goodbye.
Fix it after 20 years.
Right? So the purging process is really the hardest, you know, part, and it's the most important, because, you know, we have this emotional attachment to things, and it's hard of letting go. So it's also coming back to that mindset piece. Okay, if you're having a hard time of letting go with it, think about it from a different standpoint. Who could this serve? Who else could this serve? Could someone else benefit from this more than I am? And it's really about shifting our mindset, because we do think selfishly. That's just our natural occurrence. We're like, I just can't get rid of this. This is for me and myself. But it's about changing that mindset, being, okay, this isn't about me anymore. Who else could this go to? Or who else could benefit from this if I'm not using it? It's about letting go, which is, it's hard to do. It's not something that just is a natural occurrence. That's why there's this huge craze of people right now decluttering and purging, which is great, but it's hard. And you have to get real with yourself and ask yourself those honest questions. You know, keeping things that don't fit you isn't serving you. It's just making you feel kind of worse about yourself, you know? So it's having those real conversations and questions with yourself to help you through the purging process.
Right. So if we were to compare the first step, which is taking all the stuff out of the closet, I'm assuming, I would really love some like live examples from you too. Is just basically as in taking things and putting them on paper. Just take them out of your head, everything that's around your head, and put them on paper. Like I have 2 notebooks with stuff, right? The power of paper here.
Oh, it's unreal.
And that allows you to kind of to realize what you have there, which you didn't realize that you had, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And then the purging. The purging is so difficult. How do you make decisions?
Well, you got to just ask yourself some basic questions, and you have to answer it honestly. Deep down, we know it. And I think we cheat ourselves out from answering that question. Is that if you're, let's say, for example, you're purging your closet and you come through a shirt that you haven't worn in a while, you know you haven't worn it. So now it's time for you to make that decision if it's going to stay in your closet or if it's time to go. And you have to make that decision. Not the, well, I might wear it again. It's black and white. You got to let it go. So make the decision whether you want to keep it and start wearing it. And if you don't, have it be served somewhere else. Someone else could benefit from that. So it's just being honest and real with yourself. And like you said, if you need a friend, have someone help you. FaceTime one of your friends. I've done that with my sisters before. If I'm going through my closet on things, I'm like, what do you think of this? Get rid of it. I'm like, okay.
Okay, that's a nice idea. So yes, because it's actually, you know, it's so much better to have somebody to, well, not make the decision for you, but actually help you out.
Right.
And also not thinking about throwing stuff away, but maybe this thing that you said in the beginning, who might this serve? I may give it away.
Exactly.
And
And it helps when the purging process to have a bin with you that's labeled donate, because it's going to get you shifting your mentality different, because you feel better when you donate things. I don't know anyone that has taken a bin of somewhere and where you've donated something. It's a great feeling. And when you have that, even just the label matters, because you can see that it says donate. You're doing good. You're doing a good service. So it helps with that process on, okay, am I going to keep this or am I going to donate this? Those are just the small little things that will help you through the purging process.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you plan for it, and you
Yep.
plan. One of the things of the plan, one of the parts of the plan is having that bin over there that says donate. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So you're saying the decision, like with clothes, okay? Especially, when we gain weight, when we lose weight, it's like, oh my God, I may fit into it one day. I don't know if you ever were in this kind of a situation, or maybe you just
Oh
figured,
yeah, I
oh,
have.
I
I've
might.
had kids.
Right. So what do you do? Organize, Marie, what do you do? If you are in a might kind of a state of mind, I might wear it. What do you do then? Do you
So
keep it, or do you say to yourself, you will wear it, or else throw it away? Is that the thing?
yeah. So if there's a situation where I think I get into the mindset of I know I'm going to wear this again. So if I can't fit into my clothes, so like perfect example is I would say after losing kids or losing weight after having kids is, you don't fit into most of your clothes after, birth for quite some time. And that's also that window of, okay, is this a might category? And knowing myself in the history that I've done it before, that I knew that I would get there. So, and it's the, okay, I'm going to do this mentality. And if you're in that place where you've been there for quite a few years, you have to make that commitment. And you know deep down inside if you're going to do it or not. And if you've had something for a while and you think you're going to get there by hanging on to something that you haven't gotten to yet, it's also kind of hurting you. So you have to learn to figure out where you're going to either commit all the way in. If you've got stuff that you're like, I might wear this again, then commit to it. Hold yourself accountable to it, write it down, and be committed. If you're not, then get rid of it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes things much simpler, I think. Because then,
Yes.
you can just get rid of it and donate a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Right.
And that
So
helps.
that would be prioritizing on your list. So once you have the list, you need to figure out what you can scratch off.
Yes.
And once you do your priorities, if you have a task list of a list of things that are in your head, well, you need to prioritize them. And then the things that you decide they are not important, they have been in my mind for a while now. You can make that decision. But it's very difficult to convince people that they can scratch things off their list. It's probably the same thing when you're decluttering. Like, no, but I might do it. I've had this so many times. Like, people look at me as if I was crazy if I tell them,
No.
scratch things off, consider
Oh
them
yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You gotta make a decision. And that's really what it comes down to, is making tough decisions. It's not easy. So, once you get past that whole purging part, the next process after that is sorting. And once you start doing that, now you want to start sorting like items. So things that are similar in nature, your t-shirts together, the pasta together, things that are in like item categories. The best way that I like to explain it to people is think of whatever the category that you're doing, whether it's the bathroom, your closet, or your pantry, think of where you shop. So for example, if you go to the grocery store, think of the way that they organize the grocery store and organize it similar to the grocery store. So it makes it easier for you to be able to find what you need. And it also helps you too when you're making your shopping trips, because you know where you're at mentally, the categories that you're looking for. And it makes it easier when you get home because you've sorted it similar to what the grocery store category is, which is set up like that in your pantry, which makes it easier for you to put it away and actually follow the system that you've set up.
That makes sense. Using something that somebody has already figured out and in the store, and kind of putting that into a smaller scale at your home. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I have a lot of stuff in my kitchen cabinets, and some of it is like, yeah, it's very difficult to decide. I mean, I moved a lot, so I always have to make the decision where to put this, where to put that. And it ends up, a little bit chaotic, I must be honest. Yes.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
you
a
want to
good way of.
sort, yep, sorting
Uh-huh.
similar like items. So think of, yeah, Target, your grocery stores, CVS, things of that nature, whether the area that you're organizing, then you start moving in that space of sorting similar items. And then after that, you move on to actually organizing, which is one of my favorite parts in the whole process, because you're getting the bins that you like and love and things that you look like, and now you're putting your space back together because you've emptied the entire thing out, and now it's time to put it back together. So this is where it comes into getting the bins that look consistent. They have that nice look and feel. Getting white bins. White bins are great to use, which I highly recommend, because white is a simple color and it represents organization, and it gives you that minimalistic feel, look, and nice organized look. Clear bins work really well for like pantry and bathroom products. Things that you want to get multiple bins of the same type of bin, because consistency is key, because it's aesthetically appealing to the eye. So
Ah,
make sure to measure the space, which is very important. I've gone through this too many times where I've not measured the space and just, in my head think I've got the dimensions down okay, and I go to the store and I buy all these bins and I come home and they don't fit, and it is so frustrating, and it stops you dead in your tracks, and you're like, okay, the last thing I want to do is go back to the store and return them and that sort of thing. So measure before you do anything. You'll save
I
yourself a
can
lot of
imagine
headache.
how organized Marie is really pissed off when she gets the wrong bin. It's
Oh,
like, oh, damn it,
yeah, and
failed.
and then the worst too is if you find this bin that you love and it's beautiful, and then it doesn't fit, you feel defeated. You're like stuck, because you're like, oh, I had this great vision of this space, and now I'm stopped dead in my tracks because I didn't take the proper steps and measure my space like I was supposed to. So make sure to
Right, like
measure.
every step is important. Every step
Yes,
is important for you to finally feel good and at
yes,
peace with
yes,
everything. Uh-huh.
yes,
That makes
yes,
sense. That makes sense. So
yes.
colorful bins are a no-no. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. They're not
Let's keep
necessarily a no-no, but if you're going to do them, make sure you use kind of the same color consistently. So like, let's say if you're going to get yellow bins or red bins, get multiple so they're all lined up together, and it's more aesthetically appealing when you have the same color all lined up together in a row.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why cupboards are better than shelves, because if things are on a shelf, it kind
Mm-hmm.
of creates clutter, and then if you keep them in a cupboard, that's what I like to do as well. It's
Yeah.
closed, and it kind of gives you
Mm-hmm.
a sense of this peace right inside.
Right, right, exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So, and then so once you're done after the organized piece, this is actually, I would say, one of the most important, the next step, the labeling piece besides purging, is label the bins. It makes it much easier. You think that you might know what you put in that bin, and before you know it, you have this organized mess, like unorganized mess again, and you're doing it again. And having labels on the bins are like your rules. It keeps you in your lane, like you're driving and stuff, like it just stay in your lane. And that's what the labels do. They keep everything in their lanes respectively, and it just makes things easier to find what you need like right away. And putting things away, you're able to quickly grab what you need on the go and put it back without even thinking about it. Because I've done this before where I've done a project, I'm like, I know I'll remember what's in that bin. Like I just know. And then here I come along a month later and I'm like, what did I put in that bin? So label as anything and everything as you possibly can.
Mm, that's a good one. See, I never do that at home. You probably have a label maker, right?
I do. So, and I've gone through a lot of different
Okay.
labeling systems, because I think so, and this is my other key point about labels. Find a system that you like and you love, because you're going to be looking at it. So if you like these fancy type labels, then go that direction. If you like things a little bit more structured, do a label maker. I've gone through different trial and error on things, and I've found kind of a happy medium between my label maker and a Sharpie oil-based paint marker, just because I like to have bigger labels on things, on bins, and I'm able to do that with a marker versus the label maker. You're pretty restricted on a size on certain elements, but it's about making sure you like what you're looking at, especially when it comes to label, because if you don't like it, it's not going to work. I just did this not long ago with our laundry room, and I did a refresh because the labels that were on the bins, they were driving me nuts. They were too small. And I'm like, I go into this place very often because I'm doing laundry a lot. And like, I don't want to look at something that's just kind of bugging me. So I changed it out to a label that I now enjoy looking at, and it just makes the entire space better, happier.
Yeah, and I can see how the next time you're going to be decluttering or just cleaning, everything is just easier because you just reuse the bins and you've already planned where to put stuff in, so you don't have to go through that planning and organizing process again. You've done it
Exactly.
once.
Exactly.
And there, it's a
Exactly.
beautiful
And
concept.
if that after you label, that kind of brings us into the last step, which is maintaining the space. So you're able to maintain that organized space because it's labeled, and then it makes it easier for tweaking as you go, because once you organize a space, it's not a one and done thing. It's a process about maintaining and using the system that you've now established. And then it's gonna change as you go, because we're not the same person as we were last year, and there's life
Right.
changes, and we have kids. Our kids aren't going to be young forever, so the systems that we have in place right now aren't going to be even working for us in the next even 6 months or a year from now. So it's about making those modifications as they go. So once you get your system in place, reassessing it, and you'll start to see when things start to fall a little bit out of place, because it happens and it will happen. And that's where you have to reassess and tweak it as you go. Make the modifications, figure out what's working, what's not working, and make the changes so you can have your space nice and organized. Because that's where people fall off the track. They think, oh, I organized my home and it just keeps going in the circle. Well, you have to maintain it after you've done it. It's not like a one and done thing. You have to maintain the space.
So if we want to refer this to the mindset, that's very important to
Yep.
actually keep putting things on paper. It's not
Yep.
enough to do it once, because
Nope.
then it just clutters your head back again.
Yep.
So figure out your priorities. What is going to be important for you? What's important? What's not important? As you say, these things may change in time. It may become important at some point in time or less important. But it's good to always put it on a list of priorities, because that's what keeps you sane, basically. So
It does.
do your list and put stuff on paper, even every day. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Any system is good, like with the yellow post-its. That's great, because it gives you a nice visual representation of what you want. And like a list is something else, because you need to reorganize it. But it's good to know what's important for you. Like define that once. These will be your labels. What will be your labels?
Exactly.
What areas are important? What are you focusing on? Is it work? Is it family? Is it getting customers? Is it travel, etc.? Yeah, I can see so many resemblances to decluttering your head.
And once you have an organized home, you feel better. Everything starts to flow a little bit easier, and it just kind of keeps going from there. So, and my biggest tip out of anything, if you're starting with a home that needs an entire overhaul, start small. Because if you start a project that's too big, you're going to run into, you're going to get stuck. You're going to run into a place where you just lose that motivation, because there's just so much of it and it's overwhelming. You want to have a slow, gradual increase. If you're going to run a marathon,
so much like having a business. That's much like having a business. Don't do it all at once.
No, and I mean, it's like if you're going to train for a marathon, and you've never run before, you wouldn't go out starting running 10 miles in one day. So it's like you'd start small. And that's the same thing when it comes to organizing. Start small. Start with a drawer, something that is a quick, easy win, and build from there. Because as you build, you gain more confidence, you gain more clarity, and things just start, it's like rapid fire, and things just start getting easier and easier. So that's my biggest recommendation, is find the areas of your home where you can start small and then build from there.
Yeah, I see, because when I move around, by the way, labels is the necessity when you're moving. Always label the cardboard. It took me a couple years to figure that out. Oh my God, this is a lifesaver. But that's why it's so difficult to put things to place when you move, because you have everything in the carton box. and there's no going small because you kind of try and put everything in place all together. And then it took me, you know, I was just shifting things. I decided one day this will be here, and the other day, no, this is going to be this is going to be kept in the other room, right?
Right.
So it's the same
Exactly.
thing. Okay, so I think we've got 5 steps here.
With 6. So
Is
we
that-
kind of went, yeah, this last step is the maintaining piece. So we first start with the empty. So the 6 steps. So empty your space completely. After that, you want to purge, get rid of the stuff you're not using or it's not serving you. After that, you want to
Get
sort.
your friend on Facebook, on Messenger, call them and ask them for help.
Yes, use your friends, use your family. They'll help you. And then sort. You want to sort similar items. And then after that, you're going to start organizing, which is fun. And then you get to put the space back together and make it look nice and pretty as you want it to be. And then once you're done with that, you're going to label everything, all your bins as much as possible. And then after that, you're going to maintain your space.
Maintain your space. That is an important step. Don't forget about this, guys, because otherwise you just have to go all the way back pretty soon. So it's a big time saver. If you think about it as a time saver, which we usually don't. We tend to think it's going to waste our time, but it's actually a time saver, and it saves space here and energy.
Exactly.
Maintenance pod. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I think that's it. So you have some challenges on your website, I know, for different areas, I think, of your home, right?
Yes. So I have a home challenge on my website that's completely free, and you can just click on the challenge part on the link, and once you get there, you'll see the 12 areas of the home that you can organize. So you can kind of click and choose through it as you need. Figure out which areas of your home that are the smallest, and it's a free. It's free to take a look at it, and it lists the steps and products that I would recommend that would help you get organized.
Brilliant, awesome. So you'll post a link in the comments to your website, and guys, you can go and use it. And I just did this before Easter. Easter is a perfect deadline. So now, guys, you have a deadline, which is great to achieve goals. You can use that one.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here with me. It was a pleasure as always.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.